We're Slikrok Productions, and over the last few months, Jake and I have been getting a lot of messages from people who are new into the industry, or they're thinking about purchasing machines, or just barely purchased a machine, and they want to know what upgrades to do to their machine first. What are the weak points? What's going to break? What are the musts? And that is a question that is a little more specific to each person and each individual, and we're happy to answer that for anybody who wants to call and or message us and communicate with us. But I can't answer those questions, just across the board. It depends on riding style. It depends on what kind of terrain you ride. It depends on, what you're going to be doing in your machine. So that's a little bit more specific. But I'd like to take a moment and talk about what everybody should be carrying in their machine, because I believe that is equally important. And so when you first get into this industry, we've all learned the hard way and been out, stuck somewhere or had problems and not had what we needed on the trail. And so I'd like to talk about that for a minute. So a belt is something you are going to break if you ride UTVs. We all break belts. Everybody does it. You should carry a spare belt with you, and you should carry the tools to change a belt with you. And if you've never changed a belt on your machine, you need to take the cover off of it and figure out how to do it before you're out there, and get it figured out in your garage or in your driveway before you're out on the trail. If you are going to break a belt, just plan on it. So learn that before you get out there. The other thing is axles. More than likely, you're going to break an axle out there. What we do is we buy a set of aftermarket axles. OEM replacements usually cost a little bit more than tougher aftermarket ones. So we'll buy a set of axles for a machine, and then we'll carry the OEMs for spares. You need to know how to change axles on your machine out there as well. So if you've never done that, take your machine apart and change an axle in it. It's worth having that knowledge before you get out there. And then recovery gear is really important. We carry these with us. This is from a UTV grab bag from Steve Schaefer. Those have a really good strap in them. They have soft shackles. Even if you have a winch, you should carry a strap no matter what. Sometimes winch cables aren't long enough to get a hold of something to get yourself out. Sometimes you need to tow a machine. Sometimes you need to tie one off. There's a billion reasons to carry that with you. Make sure you carry some recovery equipment. Air compressors. These things are cheap. You can get nice ones, you can get cheap ones, but make sure you have one. And you should carry tire plugs with you. Even if a hole is big enough to put 2 or 3 fingers in, you can usually twist plugs together and get air back in it and get back on the road. And then, assorted tools. Take sockets with you, take wrenches with you. We take, wiring stuff with us, connectors, we take tape, take anything you might need while you're out there. If you have a short, if something happens, we organize our stuff. Alex Tarsha from UTV Trails has these bags. They're all labeled. You get a whole kit of them. They're relatively inexpensive, and it really helps organize your stuff. If you're going to put it all in a box, or you're going to take it with you. Toilet paper, you can keep them from getting wet, and so we put all of our spare parts in those bags. But carry stuff with you that you're going to need on the trail. I can't count the times we've been out in the middle of nowhere and we come across people out there and they don't have what they need to fix the machine. They're just waiting, hoping somebody comes along. It's unacceptable. That is irresponsible. Take what you need while you're at, sit down and kind of go through your head about all the things that might possibly break, things you might need. If you need to change a tire, how are you going to get it off the ground? If you don't have a winch and you're by yourself, how are you going to get your machine to change a tire? And a lot of people carry spare tires, but they're hard to get off the ground. You can't take a scissor jack. They articulate too much to use a scissor jack. Handymans don't really work. They're big and they're bulky anyway. We carry jack daddies in the bulk of our machines. That is a phenomenal invention, and that'll save your butt. You can change an axle with it. You can change a ball joint with it. You can change tires with them. They're easy to stow. They have clamps, so you can put them right on your cage so they're out of the way. That's a really cool idea. Take stuff with you that you're going to need out there. So to go back to all the aftermarket stuff, the only piece of advice that I would give across the board that applies to everybody is maintenance. When you're out on rides, especially the first few trips, shake your machine down. Make sure the ball joints are tight. Make sure the tire ends are tight. Check all your bearings. And progressively, as you ride and you put miles on your machine, do maintenance to your machine. Check the air filter in them. Every 500 miles, pull your clutch cover off, blow the thing out, check your belt. Make sure that you're paying attention to your machine, because that goes a long way with these. Keep clean oil in them, take care of them. They will repay you if you do proper maintenance on them. The bulk of stuff that people break out there is due to poor maintenance. The other thing that everybody else breaks is when you hit something. I don't want to go right, into all those questions about what you changed first, but we're big suspension guys. I like heavy duty suspension. If you hit rocks, you take out A-arms, you take out trailing arms, you take out radius rods, you know what I mean? But that is specific to where you're going to ride. If you're going to be a dune guy and you're going to drive fast, cages, harness, safety. Safety should be the first thing across the board for anybody. But all those questions that we keep getting asked are specific to people. So any of you guys who want to message us, we're more than happy to answer any of those questions. But to us, what you carry in your machine is as important as what you bolt on your machine. So go prepared. Catch you next time.